Hey, welcome to another episode of the Parent Pivot Podcast. I am your co-host, Steve Cummings.
And I'm Julia.
And we're coming at you today. Where are we going with this podcast, sweetie? We literally sit down. What do we want to talk about? We turn the mic on, and we literally okay, here we go. So, where did you want to go today?
Well, first, I just want to say it is a beautiful day in Sewanee, Georgia.
It is
today.
A beautiful day. We're worshiping the sun. We are so grateful.
Yeah, it's nice.
Although it was
see
25, 30 degrees this morning when I woke up.
Yeah, very cold. But it's nice to see the sun today. So that's just my own little side note. Today, I thought that we might talk about marriage
On the Parent Pivot Podcast.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I think, there are a lot of things out there when you first start raising your kids. You're reading a lot of stuff, or maybe you're going to a class at church, or maybe you're listening to a different podcast or different things that talk about raising little ones and being on the same page and all of those things. Show a united front. La, 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 la.
And after we've raised our kids, it's like the content stops. There's nothing. The reason why we came on with the Parent Pivot Podcast is we sat there and looked around at all the content and we went, where is the content to help parents who have adult children?
Right.
And we kept just things kept ending up landing in our lap of friends and stories of folks and just in our own counseling sessions of parents who have adult children, just really having a hard time with those relationships and wondering, I need some help. So that's our heart. Our heart here is to just provide some wisdom, some insight. We're not always right. We've made a lot of mistakes, but just our thoughts behind that. We both have pastoral counseling certifications from the state of Georgia. Spent a lot of time counseling, and we want to be a resource to you. And if you need us, please email us at parentpivotpodcast@gmail.com, parentpivotpodcast@gmail.com, or go to our websites, meadowbrookcounselingga.com for Julia and bringingkingdom.org for me. All right, back to marriage, hon.
Yeah. So the reason why I'm thinking about marriage is just, it's, first of all, it's hard to say goodbye to your kids, but even more than that, I think, I don't know, I could be wrong because I'm so far removed from having preschoolers or school-age children, but I think even more as you get older, it may be even more important to be on the same page, I'm feeling like. Thinking about different scenarios of, let's say you have kids in their, they're married. Let's say married.
Married kids, married adult children.
Yeah, and that's going to be a different age for everybody. But, I'm thinking just even in those early years of a kid's marriage, it's an adjustment to figure out how to have your traditions, to change traditions. And you know what? We will probably do a whole podcast on just holidays because that's a big thing. But we've in the past we've kind of beat a dead horse with how do you get your kids out of the house?
Yeah.
Could be that. It could be the kids are in their 30s and 40s and you don't like the way they go on vacations and spend all their money, or you don't agree with the way they raise their kids, and again, all of those could be separate podcasts.
Yeah.
But to go back to your marriage, that remains the number one thing.
Yep.
That remains the grounding for the family, the importance of your marriage being intact. Especially in this day and age when marriages aren't, I would say that kind of, what's the word I want to say? I lose my words all the time, you guys. So it's the example that you're setting. You're the role model. You guys are setting forth something for generations to come. And I don't think you should lose sight of that.
Yeah. Even when you think they're not watching, they're still watching.
Right.
Because they're watching you go through hard and difficult times, and they're seeing how you handle it. Whether that's something you're going through together or separately, they're watching.
Yeah.
And where your faith plays at, and how all the things of grace and forgiveness and all that stuff enters into that.
Yeah. So the thing that I really want to emphasize is, how are you being a couple? How are you feeding your marriage? I think oftentimes when we're early married, we're so into it. And so we read marriage books and we go to conferences and we work on our marriage. But then as we get older, I think we just kind of get lax. We get into a rhythm and into our roles, and we don't want to disrupt the apple cart, so to speak. And so we kind of just get lulled into sleeping, I think. So where I want to go is just the challenge of, how do we date each other again? How do we be a united front still? How do we still make it an important goal for our family that we are a good role model? I've seen older couples that sometimes they don't care, and they're fighting in front of the grandchildren. They're not being kind to one another. And I think that we just really need to be mindful as we are watching our grandchildren be raised into all
so
that.
If I'm hearing you correctly, I'm doing my best to actively listen here.
Thank you.
Putting on my counseling hat. Being a good partner to your adult children. Now, usually in the other previous podcasts, we've been giving kind of explicit, intentional things to think about and do and whatever. But what I'm hearing you say, so correct me if I'm wrong, is that we're going to take the focus off the adult kids. And we're going to talk about, maybe there doesn't need to be so much focus on them getting up every morning throughout the day in the evening time, texting your adult kids, because it's like, let's focus on the marriage, because that's what's going to sustain you. That is your, next to God, that's your very next thing that's the most important in your life. So a healthy marriage is going to make you a better partner with your adult children. Is that what I hear you saying?
Yeah. I just want to make it clear that we need to not lose sight of the importance of our marriage still.
Yeah.
We get lulled into, I've been married 30, 40 years. And it kind of goes back, I guess, a little bit to the podcast about Get a Life.
Yeah.
Find things to do together that
Sure.
are fun together.
Well, and I would even go this far. You've done this well for me, and you'll have to tell me if I remember doing it for you. But I literally have on my phone, there was a couple times you made a very long list of character traits that you appreciated about me. And when I'm feeling down and I'm feeling like I'm a lousy husband, father, grandfather, or whatever, I can pull that up and I can read through that and go, this is what my wife believes about me. And things. And I think that's a good homework exercise. If you haven't done that before, you're sitting there one night, rather than have the TV on, or you're sitting in your chairs on the couch, make a list of, and I'm going to give you 15 or 20. That list was pretty long. Things that you appreciate about your spouse, because it's really easy. Anytime we're thinking about somebody, whether it's our kids or our spouse or friends or other things, it's really easy to point out all the negative stuff, the things that bug you. Okay. But when we can shift our mindset to say, what do I really appreciate about this person? In fact, I was reading I've been reading a devotional about Rick Warren, not about him. It's a devotional that he did. And he keeps talking about, we can make intentional choices in our mind about right paths to choose. So when you choose to be positive and think of the things you're grateful about, your feelings come after that. Our thoughts drive our feelings, which then drive our actions.
Yeah. That's a really good insight. And let's face it, when you've been married a long time, there are a couple of things that happen. You kind of take each other for granted. Like I said, you kind of get into these roles and you lose appreciation for the role that the other person has. And then I think it's true that there are certain things that are going to bug the crud out of you. That's just the reality of living with someone for so long, that there are just things that you're like, oh my gosh, can I live with this for another year? But yes, you can. You're not saying anything, huh?
Well, I don't think there's anything I do that bugs the crud out of anybody, really. I'm perfect.
As am I.
Yes. Okay, so what's some takeaways we have for for our listeners out there, I'm tuning in. I expected to hear some things about how I can have healthy relationships with my adult children, and we're taking just a little bit of a detour. We'll be right back on the main thing for our next podcast. We have a whole list of topics.
Yeah.
I know I joke about it at the front, but I keep a list of topics on my phone. So I know when I start the podcast and she's not ready to do something, I just pull out my phone. I got a list of about 10 different things we can talk about, and off we go. But it's kind of like you're practicing in one way, at least for me, if I'm sitting there listening to this, you got to practice surrendering your adult kids. And this is one way. You're going to take the focus off of them and put it on your mate. Now, what if I'm an adult? What if I'm a parent of an adult child and I'm not married?
Yeah, that's a whole different topic, which I think we should make that separate.
In fact, we have a very good friend out on the West Coast, and she's had some struggles with that and things, and somehow we can figure out a way to talk about that without being too specific. But she really has a hard time because she's divorced and she's got adult children.
Yeah. And it can be tough. So I think that's a whole other subject is, what if I'm doing this alone? What if I'm trying to deal with my adult kids alone?
Yeah, because I probably might have stopped listening about 10 minutes ago when I found out you're talking about marriage. You're going, don't need to listen to this podcast.
Yeah, and I don't want those people to feel forgotten.
No.
At all. Or what if your spouse has died too? I mean, it's just, what if you just
in whatever
don't
way
have
you're
a
the
significant
only adult parent that's still around.
Yeah. So we can do that on a different podcast, but takeaways, I think your assignment is a great one.
Yeah.
And I think that the truth in saying, okay, to have a healthy relationship with our kids, with our adult children, we need to take the focus off of them. And let's go back to each other. Let's start dating again. Let's make that list. Let's read a book together. Let's
go kayaking together.
Yeah, let's go walk the mall and just look around and hold hands together. There are just certain things that we
did it last Saturday.
that are just good to do, and it just to take you back to a place where that is the main focus now. Your focus is not so much on your children and grandchildren. I mean, if you are close enough to them and you get to watch them and stuff, I get that is part of your everyday life, actually. But you're going home with your spouse. You're not. The kids aren't the priority anymore.
Nope. And just remember, there's a song by Phillips, Craig, and Dean. It's like I want to be just like him, like my dad. And I believe our adult kids they're still watching mom and dad.
Yeah.
You may not feel like it, but they are. We just had an interaction this afternoon with our youngest and his wife, and things happened where they were just blessed and by things that we said and did with them, and we didn't go looking for it. It just kind of happened. So they're always keeping their eyes on you. So one way you can keep a healthy relationship with your adult children is to have a healthy relationship with your mate.
Yes. I don't know if I have anything else to say beyond that, honestly.
Today can be a short one.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of specific scenarios, and I don't even have a specific scenario just because it seems pretty self-explanatory. I mean, if you would have read a book about marriage early on in your marriage, do that again. If you would have gone to a marriage conference, go do that again. Yeah,
we've actually gone to a marriage conference, kind of more for a tune-up, even though we didn't need it.
Yeah. And but you find out that you maybe did need it.
Right. Well, and what's interesting, and I'm thinking back to, I know you know where I'm going with this. The one we went to, one of the first things they had us do was a genogram. If you're not familiar with what a genogram is, that's where you put down your mom and your dad, and then their their parents. So you're drawing the square boxes. It's almost like think of the Ancestry.com. Yeah. It's your family tree. And all these things. And I've known Julia for 37 years. We just celebrated the 37th anniversary of our first date back on Valentine's Day. And I've known things about Julia since I've been married to her, but there was something about visually seeing that genogram at that marriage conference that brought it home a lot more deeper for me, because day in, day out, week in, week out, some of those things that you had expressed that day, they come up. Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden I went, oh, wow, now I visually see that. So all that to say is, marriage conferences, marriage retreats, even when you're in your 50s, your 60s, and your 70s, that just tells me that you still have a teachable heart and a learning heart. And guess what? Our kids see that. It's like, you guys are going on a marriage retreat? Yep. You know, I mean, the oil needs to be changed in the car, right?
Yeah.
You don't run the car and don't change the oil for, 80,000 miles. You go and get it changed every 3,000 to 5,000 miles.
Yeah.
So why would you not go get tune-ups for your marriage, learn some things, read a book together, do some fun stuff, focus on each other? But we will come back with another podcast for parents of adult children who are not married for whatever reason.
Yeah.
We are not forgetting about you. In fact, maybe that should be our next one. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
There was something that I thought of as you're talking about that conference, and just the thought that we never stop learning about our spouses. And, one thing, as I said, like we kind of get lulled to sleep. I think that's kind of, you saying that brought this to mind, that we get lulled into thinking that we do know our spouse, that we know them better than anyone. And that is probably very true. But sometimes our spouse has learned to not say what they need to say for whatever reason. Oh, I know if let's say I was upset about something, I said, oh, well, I know how Steve's going to respond to this, so I'm just going to keep it to myself. I'm not going to talk about it or whatever. That's kind of a normal thing in a lot of marriages, that we shut ourselves down because we think we know our spouse. We think we know how they're going to respond. When we went through a difficult time in our marriage, and we can be honest about this, we did go through a difficult time in our marriage. One of the most significant things that I heard somebody say was, be curious. Mm-hmm. And that word just struck a chord with me so much, because I was one of those kind of know-it-all spouses who thought that I knew everything that Steve thought, and I thought I knew every response he was going to have, and I stopped asking questions. Yeah. And so the idea of me being curious, like, hey, I'm curious what you think about that, or I'm curious why you responded that way, or I just that remembering that conference that we went to, that's just kind of where my mind went.
And here's what I'm thinking as I hear you say that. When we're doing that in our marriage, mm-hmm. when we're having a teachable heart and we're being curious and we're learning more about our mate, guess what? There will come an opportunity when you will have a conversation with your adult son or daughter. Mm-hmm. And they may be sharing something that could be a frustration or whatever. And if you were not learning more about your mate, you might not have something to share with them to build that bridge as a partner, because you've decided, or maybe you missed the boat or whatever. So what I'm saying is, have a teachable heart, continue to grow closer to your mate, and God's going to use that to give you things to share with your adult children when they have marriage difficulties. Not saying that you're going to become the counselor, but you can certainly have another experience where you're going to relate, going, you know what, let me tell you this story I just learned about Dad. Been married to him for 35 years. And this happened, and it's going to be something similar that will help them go, oh, wow, you would not have that if you were not working on your marriage.
Yeah, yeah. So, work on your marriage.
Work on your marriage. All right, that's it for this edition of the Parent Pivot Podcast. We are Steve and Julia Cummings. If you've got any questions or things you want us to talk about or things you liked, please like this on Facebook. Go to our Facebook page. Just type in the Parent Pivot Podcast. Share it with your friends if they would love some help on this. The other thing you do is you can also get a hold of us at parentpivotpodcast@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you.
Yes.
Tell us what you like. Tell us what you don't like. Nothing is off limits. We can take it, because we're here. We believe that God's put us here to be able to share things with parents who have adult children, and we just want to bless you. We want to help you, and we're just going at this raw and real and vulnerable way. So until we talk to you next time, thanks for joining us on the Parent Pivot Podcast.
See you later.